Just when you think it cannot get any crazier in Northwest Arkansas, it does. Today we're covering 3 wild and fun things happening in the area itself that you definitely need to be aware of. And one of them actually includes 3 brand new Chef's Kiss delicious restaurant opening up in downtown Bentonville. So let's talk about that. Hey everybody, if you don't know who I am, my name is Phillip Shepard. I'm a local real estate agent located right here in Northwest Arkansas. If you weren't aware, I actually was a real estate broker located in the dumpster fire, the horrible, the no good state of Illinois, the worst. Anyways, I could have moved anywhere I wanted to in America. I could have moved to Kentucky, to Tennessee, to Utah, to Montana, to Asheville, to anywhere I wanted to in America. But I chose Northwest Arkansas because it is by far the best place to live in America. Literally by far. So if you ever want to talk about why I chose Northwest Arkansas versus anywhere else in America, call me, text me, let's meet up for coffee and we can talk about, again, why I chose here versus anywhere else in America. So without further ado, let's jump right into the content. All right, and the first crazy thing we need to cover happening in Northwest Arkansas is an actual update to the potential massive downtown section of Centerton. If you weren't aware, people say there's a downtown section of Centerton. There ain't no downtown section of Centerton. They call it Old Town. It's just one road. Ain't nothing going on down there. But they are actually building a legitimate downtown section of Centerton. It's going to be over 400 acres that really is out in the kind of like in the core section of Centerton. So it's going to be a big win for the area. But I digress. There's actually going to be rolled out in 3 different phases. And I'm going to kind of go through each phase right now really briefly so you kind of have an idea of what to expect if you are living or want to live in Centerton. Little side note, obviously Centerton does not have a downtown section. If you live in Centerton, oftentimes you're going to be leveraging both Pinnacle Rogers as well as downtown Bentonville for a lot of that kind of fun activities sort of stuff for families and friends of that nature when you live in Centerton. So adding this additional downtown section to Northwest Arkansas and Centerton, big win for the area. Also, side note to the side note to the side note, I assume and can expect and we'll say no, that home prices will continue to rise in Centerton just due to this news. So keep that in mind if you are looking for properties in the area itself. So, okay, let's jump into it. So the first phase is going to be I'm looking at my notes down here, a revamp of the Old Town, which is basically that one strip. They're gonna revamp it. I don't know what you're gonna revamp there. I mean, maybe make some better buildings. Not sure. I'm not really concerned about that because honestly, who cares? The second part is actually going to be starting to revamp, and phase 2 is going to be actually designing the downtown section of Centerton. So it's 400 acres, plan it all out, downtown square, etc., etc., etc. So imagine downtown Bentonville, but in Centerton, probably not all the frills and wills of Walmart down there and all the new hotels, but it's going to be something very, we'll say, Americanic, the square, coffee shops, restaurants, all the different things. Cool, that's awesome. We're gonna have our obviously we'll say not First Fridays, but our obviously monthly hangouts, music, the whole thing. Probably bands, of course, and competitions and games, etc. I'm sure that's gonna be part of it. We'll have Christmas parades there. You know how it goes. Just imagine Hallmark, Centerton, Bentonville, Fayetteville, the whole Springdale, the whole kin caboodle in downtown Centerton. Cool. Phase 3 is interesting. Phase 3 is going to actually connect both the Old Town and the new downtown section, and I assume, without saying it, is going to be start really connecting that with Bentonville to Centerton. So a lot of the trail systems are moving out from Bentonville to Centerton. We're about a couple years away from them really dialing in, and I'm sure this whole downtown section is part of this huge master plan. I've seen renderings of it that are kind of like not really public yet, so I expect that those are going to be, we'll say, more modified and over the course of the next few months. But I do think it's great that Centerton is amping up the game, stepping up to the plate, so to speak, and making a great experience for the people that do live in Centerton currently and the future residents of Centerton. So good win on Centerton. Good job on that one. And the second crazy thing that's happened in Northwest Arkansas is what Time Magazine reported. I read this because it was literally the headline on top of Time Magazine. The world's richest woman, again, world's richest woman, has opened up a medical school. There you go. The actual Alice Walton School of Medicine finally opened up this fall, starting now, with their first actual students coming on board. This is a big win for the area. I think it's going to be very similar to Crystal Bridges. Crystal Bridges put Northwest Arkansas on the map almost well over a decade ago because it's like some of the most expensive artwork in the world exists in Northwest Arkansas. People from Paris and LA and New York and Chicago and other, all the Italian cities, all the European cities were like, why are you bringing some of the nicest artwork to Arkansas of all places. Again, really put Northwest Arkansas on the map. People all across the world fly to Crystal Bridges to see its artwork and everything that's there at the time. Okay, I assume that Alice, and I'm probably gonna be right here, Alice Walton School of Medicine is going to be the new Crystal Bridges. It's going to usher in a new phase of not Northwest Arkansas, but Arkansas in general. Because with Alice Walton School of Medicine, it's going to be heavily focused on whole health. Hence why they opened up the Whole Health Institute. It's going to be completely focused on looking at as a person as a whole and not necessarily putting just a bunch of medicine in them. It's a new way of doing medicine with the emergence of AI and all these different new technologies coming into place. They are ready to, let's say, remap how medicine is done. And when you have the world's richest woman backing you, essentially building it and backing you, a lot can be done. The only real way for medicine to change is you really need a big, I'm not a medicine expert, I'm just assuming here. Obviously, as entrenched and as ingrained as medicine is, and doctors and nurses and the whole practice of insurance, the whole kin caboodle, you need a big player in the space to really make waves. And I believe this is going to be one, if not one of the few, if not one of, let's say, 6 or 7 across America that are doing just that. Re-looking at how medicine is done, how do we treat people, how we, onboard new doctors and nurses, how do we train them, how do we go against the insurance companies, all those different things, leveraging AI and artificial intelligence to give better obviously observations of what's happening in the human body. Again, not a doctor, but I can assume is that with all these new emerging technologies and a new way of doing stuff, it's going to really be a let's say a plumb line, so to speak, of how medicine should be done in the future, all originating from Northwest Arkansas, with our connections to Cleveland Clinic and a lot of the other big players in the medicine space, Mercy Hospitals in the medicine space here in Northwest Arkansas. It's going to be a huge win for the area and also for America, if I'm being honest. So seeing this first semester onboarding doctors and nurses and starting training them to be doctors and nurses is a huge win for the area. Whoa, 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 whoa. I made something for you. I made something called 3-day itineraries. So maybe you're looking to check this place out, looking to see if it's the best place to live in America. I made 3-day itineraries literally for you. Maybe you're an adventurer, maybe you're a sports person, maybe you're a foodie, maybe you're a sightseer, maybe you have kids, whatever it is, I have 3-day itineraries linked below. So go ahead and download them and use them when you get down here. Also, you might be using things like Realtor.com, Zillow, or Redfin. Way too slow. Notifications, way too slow. That's why I made something called Instant Home Updates. It sounds exactly what it is. Literally, it's Instant Home Updates. So enter your information below: name, bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage. Where do you want to move to in Northwest Arkansas? Enter all the information below. I'll make sure to miss a single notification when it comes for home for sale or for rent, all in Northwest Arkansas. Also, side note, every single Friday, I send an email out just talking about all the cool things happening in Northwest Arkansas. What's going on downtown Bentonville? When is First Fridays? When is First Thursdays? What new buildings are moving here? What new businesses are starting up? What new restaurants? There are so many things all the time happening in Northwest Arkansas. Enter your name below, enter your email below. I'll make sure you get that email every single Friday, but I need you to be aware. I just need you to be a little heads up. You will get a little fear of missing out, little FOMO, so to speak, but I promise you will be the most informed person eventually when you make your way down to Northwest Arkansas. And the third and final thing we need to talk about happening in Northwest Arkansas is the Compton Hotel, which is a large hotel being built on the Bentonville Square. If you're in Bentonville Square, you've certainly seen it being built. Built by the Waltons. It's a very, I would say, almost luxury-esque hotel based around biking, but they have announced that they are actually opening up 3 different restaurants in the bottom section of the actual hotel itself. Now, this has been proposed for almost like over a year now, that it's going to be almost an experimental place for new restaurants to grow, build up, and then get out of the hotel eventually, or to see what is necessary, what is needed in the area itself. So this is going to be 3 experimental, they call them, what's the right word? Culinary concepts in the bottom of the hotel. The first one's going to be called Sestina? S-E-S-T-I-N-A? Sestina? Anyways, modern steakhouse, bold flavors, awesome. The Eddy, a vibrant cocktail bar, great. It's going to be in the top, obviously, parts of the hotel. And then we have Field Notes, a community cafe, obviously coffee shop. Definitely more geared to that third space feel, where you go to Walmart headquarters for work, you bike yourself over to Field Notes, or there's obviously a lot of startups in the downtown section of Bentonville as we speak. So again, having that community feel called Field Notes, third space kind of feel in downtown Bentonville is well needed. We have Airship as well. We have Honest Coffee. We have other things coming down the pipeline. That's going to be a huge win for downtown Bentonville. But seeing these kind of cool, I call them pop-ups, probably not appropriate, but pop-up restaurants in that downtown section of Bentonville is well needed. And a lot of times, I do admit, it makes sense for the Waltons to do this because it is hard to rent out, to find a restaurant, to afford and want to put a restaurant in there. Big risk, big financial risk. And so when the Waltons can back those things, that's great. They can run them, and sometimes they spin them out to different restaurants. Sometimes they decide to keep them running. It really just depends, again, what the Waltons want to do with the space. But again, it is nice to have their own funding, their own stuff, and their own risk being baked into this bottom part of the hotel. They obviously run a lot of other restaurants in the Bentonville area, Blake Street, Sonny's, and a couple others as well. They have Theoden Field out in the little bit south end of Bentonville, so they're very well accustomed to running restaurants in the Bentonville area, and having them take the risk is greater because then they're probably going to stay there for a long time. RIP Press Room, we don't talk about that, kind of shut down randomly. Anyways, long story short, they are definitely taking the risk, and it's great to see these restaurants come into place in that downtown section of Bentonville to make it even a better experience. All right, that's all I have for you guys today. Again, if you have not been down to Northwest Arkansas quite yet, I made something called the NWA Starter Pack. Sounds exactly what it is. Literally a starter pack full of all the cool things in Northwest Arkansas. It comes with a 120-page guide, literally city by city, thing by thing, everything about Northwest Arkansas in one big packet. It comes with the 3-day itineraries, it comes with postcards, it comes with all sorts of cool things. Also, side note, you do need this because it comes with the official NWA coloring book. I mean, come on, don't you want that? I want that right now. Anyways, yes, do it for the coloring book. Starter pack comes right to your home, literally package shipped right to your home. Enter your name below, enter your address below. Where's this package going to? Where am I shipping this NWA starter package going to? Enter all the information below and make sure to get the package shipped to you right away. Also, side note, it does come with your first free mountain bike, so that's pretty cool. And I know what you're thinking, It is my favorite for F word. Free, so enter your information below and make sure to get the package shipped to you right away. All right, guys, I'll see you next one.